Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Daily English Fluent Podcast. I am Jake, and today I am very happy to practice English with you. In today's podcast, we are going to talk about something almost every English learner wants to know: how to improve your speaking very fast. Maybe you have been studying English for a few months, or maybe you have been studying for several years. You know many English words, you understand basic grammar, and when you watch a simple English video, you understand a lot. But when it is your turn to speak, suddenly everything feels more difficult. Maybe the words are inside your head, but they do not come out quickly. Someone asks you a simple question like, "What did you do yesterday?" And you understand the question perfectly, but then your mind starts working too hard. You think, should I use the past tense? Which word should I use? Is my pronunciation correct? What if I make a mistake? And while you are thinking about all these things, you become nervous and the conversation becomes difficult. This happens to many English learners, so today we are going to make speaking much simpler. The first rule for improving your speaking quickly is very simple. Stop waiting for perfect English. Many learners say, "I will start speaking when I know more vocabulary." Then they learn more vocabulary, but they still do not speak. Later, they say, "I will start speaking when my grammar is better." They study more grammar, but they still feel nervous. Then they think they need better pronunciation, more expressions, or more confidence before they can begin. The problem is that there is always something more to learn. If you wait until your English is perfect, you may wait forever. Instead, use the English you have today. If you know simple words, use simple words. If you can only make short sentences, make short sentences. You do not need to sound like a professor or a native speaker. You only need to communicate your idea clearly. Instead of trying to say, "I would greatly appreciate the opportunity to improve my communication abilities," you can simply say, "I want to speak English better." That sentence is easy, natural, and clear. Simple English is real English, and simple English spoken confidently is much better than difficult English that you are afraid to use. So how can you begin speaking more every day? One of the easiest methods is to talk about your daily life. Your daily life is perfect speaking material because you already know what is happening. You do not need to invent an interesting story. You do not need to research a difficult topic. You simply describe what you are doing, what you see, what you feel, and what you are going to do. In the morning, you can say, "I am getting out of bed. I am opening the window. I am washing my face. I am making breakfast. I am drinking coffee. I need to leave home soon." When you walk outside, continue practicing. You can say, "The weather is nice today. There are many cars on the street. I can see a small shop. A woman is waiting for the bus. I am going to work. I feel a little tired today." When you are cooking, you can describe what you are doing. "I am cutting an onion. I am making some rice. The food smells good. I am hungry. I am going to eat in 10 minutes. These sentences are extremely simple, but that is exactly why this exercise works. At first, talking to yourself in English may feel strange. That is completely normal. After a few days, it starts to feel easier. The important thing is that you are training your brain to connect real life directly with English. Many learners see something, think about it in their first language, translate the idea into English, check the grammar, and finally speak. That process takes too much time. We want to make the process shorter. You see rain and immediately think, "It is raining." You feel hungry and think, "I am hungry." You see a bus and think, "The bus is coming." This is one of the first steps toward thinking in English. Do not try to think about complicated topics at the beginning. Start with the world around you. Look around your room and describe 5 things. There is a table near the window. My phone is on the table. I have 2 books. The door is closed. My room is quiet. Then describe how you feel. I am tired. I am a little hungry. I feel relaxed. I want some coffee. Then describe your plans. I need to finish my work. After that, I'm going to study English. Tonight, I want to watch a movie. Another powerful method is learning sentence patterns instead of learning only individual words. A sentence pattern is a small structure that you can use again and again with different information. For example, take the pattern, I want to. You can say, I want to learn English. I want to drink some water. I want to travel. I want to find a better job. I want to speak more confidently. I want to visit London. You are using the same beginning, so your brain does not need to build every sentence from zero. You only change the final information. Now take another pattern. I need to. You can say, I need to study. I need to go home. I need to call my friend. I need to practice English. I need to buy some food. I need to wake up early tomorrow. Then practice I like. You can say, I like reading. I like cooking. I like listening to podcasts. I like meeting new people. I like watching English videos. I like walking in the evening. With only 3 simple patterns, you can already create dozens of useful sentences. This is important because fluent speakers do not create every sentence one word at a time. They know many groups of words that naturally go together. Think about expressions like, I don't know. What do you mean? That sounds good. I'm not sure. Can you help me? And what about you? These are small pieces of language. When you practice them many times, they become automatic. You do not need to stop and think about every word. Your brain hears a situation and the complete phrase comes to you much faster. This is one reason learning useful phrases can improve your speaking speed. Let's practice another useful pattern. I usually. You can say, I usually wake up at 7. I usually drink coffee in the morning. I usually go to work by bus. I usually study English at night. I usually watch movies on the weekend. Now think about your own life and complete this sentence aloud. I usually. Do not only think about your answer, say it with your voice. It can be very simple. I usually wake up early. Good. Now say another one. I usually have breakfast at home. This brings us to another important rule. If you want to improve speaking, you must actually speak. Listening is wonderful, and listening will help you understand pronunciation, vocabulary, and natural sentence patterns. But listening alone is not enough. Imagine watching hundreds of videos about swimming without ever entering the water. You might understand how swimming works, but your body has never practiced it. Speaking is similar. Your mouth needs training, your tongue needs training, and your brain needs practice finding the correct words while you are talking. So, when you listen to English, do not always stay silent. Pause the video or podcast and repeat a sentence. Copy the speaker's pronunciation. Copy the speed. Copy the rhythm. If the speaker says, I'm really happy to see you, say, I'm really happy to see you. Repeat it 2 or 3 times. Then change one part. I'm really happy to be here. I'm really happy to learn English. I'm really happy today. Now you are not only repeating English, you are learning how to take one useful sentence and make it your own. This is much closer to real speaking. Another excellent method is question and answer practice, because real conversations are full of questions and answers. Someone asks something, you answer, and sometimes you ask a question back. Start with very common questions. What is your name? My name is Maria. Where are you from? I am from Spain. Where do you live? I live in Madrid. What do you do? I am a student. Why are you learning English? I am learning English because I want to travel. What do you do in your free time? I like reading and listening to music. These questions may look too easy, but easy practice is extremely valuable. The goal is not only to know the answer, the goal is to answer quickly and comfortably without translating every sentence in your head. If someone asks, "Where are you from?" you want the answer to come naturally. If someone asks, "What do?" you want your mouth to start speaking without a long pause. This automatic feeling comes from repetition. The first time may feel slow, the 10th time feels easier. After enough practice, the answer begins to feel natural, and that is when your speaking starts becoming faster. Now, let's make your speaking practice more natural. Instead of answering a question with only one short sentence, try to add 1 or 2 extra details. If someone asks, "Where do you live?" you can say, "I live in Madrid. It is a busy city, but I really like it." If someone asks, "What do?" you can say, "I work in a hotel. I usually help guests and answer their questions." If someone asks, "Why are you learning English?" you can say, "I am learning English because I want to travel. I also want to feel more confident when I meet new people." A useful exercise is the 3-sentence answer. Choose one simple question and answer it with 3 sentences. For example, "What do you do on weekends?" You can say, "I usually relax at home on Saturday morning. In the afternoon, I sometimes meet my friends. On Sunday, I prepare for the new week." Your first sentence gives the main answer. Your second sentence adds information. Your third sentence gives another small detail. This exercise teaches you how to continue speaking instead of stopping after one sentence. Many learners can say, "I like football," but then they do not know what to say next. Try adding 2 more sentences. "I like football. I usually watch games with my friends. My favorite time to watch football is on the weekend." You are not using difficult English, but you are speaking for longer. This is an important part of becoming fluent. Fluency is not about using the most difficult words. It's about expressing your ideas comfortably and continuing the conversation. Now, let's talk about one of the fastest ways to improve: repetition. Many learners always want new lessons, new vocabulary, and new videos. New material is useful, but repeating useful English is extremely important. When you hear a sentence once, you may understand it. When you hear it several times and say it aloud several times, you begin to remember it naturally. After enough practice, you no longer need to build the sentence word by word. The complete phrase comes to your mind. For example, take the phrase, "It depends." Someone asks, "Do you go out on weekends?" You can answer, "It depends. Sometimes I meet my friends, but sometimes I stay home." Someone asks, "Do you like studying at night?" You can say, "It depends. If I am tired, I prefer studying in the morning." Practice one useful phrase in several different situations. This teaches your brain how to use the phrase, not only what the phrase means. Another powerful method is shadowing. Shadowing means listening to English and repeating what you hear while trying to copy the speaker. You copy the pronunciation, rhythm, and speed. You can practice with a simple podcast, video, or short audio lesson. First, listen to one sentence, pause the audio, and repeat the sentence aloud. Listen again and repeat again. When the sentence becomes easier, try saying it almost at the same time as the speaker. Let's practice. Listen to this sentence. "I practice English every morning before work." Now say it aloud. "I practice English every morning before work." Say it one more time, but try to make it smooth and natural. Do not worry if your pronunciation is not perfect. Your goal is to train your mouth to produce English more comfortably. 5 minutes of shadowing every day can make a big difference because you are listening and speaking at the same time. Another excellent habit is recording your voice. Your phone is enough for this exercise. Choose one easy topic and speak for 1 minute. You can talk about your day, your family, your work, your favorite food, or your plans for tomorrow. Do not prepare every sentence before you begin. Start recording and try to keep speaking. If you make a small mistake, continue. For example, you can say, "Today I woke up at 7. I was a little tired, so I stayed in bed for 10 more minutes. Then I got up and made some coffee. I had eggs and bread for breakfast. After breakfast, I checked my phone and started working." When you finish, listen to your recording. Do not search for 20 mistakes. Choose only 1 or 2 things to improve. Maybe you speak too quickly. Maybe you pause too much. Or maybe one word is difficult to pronounce. This is much more useful than simply saying, "My English is bad." Be specific about your problem. Say, "I need to speak more slowly," or "I need more practice with past tense," or "I need more vocabulary for talking about my job." A specific problem gives you something specific to practice. Then you can record yourself again after a few days and compare. You may be surprised by the improvement. Small improvements become big improvements when you continue practicing. Now let's talk about translation. Translating every sentence in your head can make your speaking very slow. Someone asks, "What are you doing tonight?" And you first create a perfect answer in your language. Then you translate it into English. Then you check the grammar. Finally, you speak. Instead, use the English you already know. "I'm staying home tonight." "I'm meeting a friend." "I'm going to study." "I don't have any plans yet." Do not search for the perfect sentence. Search for a simple way to communicate your idea. Imagine you forget the word umbrella. You do not need to stop the conversation. You can say, "The thing we use when it rains." If you forget the word refrigerator, you can say, "The place where we keep food cold." This is a very important speaking skill. Fluent communication does not mean knowing every English word. It means finding another way to express yourself when you do not know a word. You should also stop correcting every tiny mistake while you speak. Maybe you say, yesterday I went to the supermarket." That is okay. Correct yourself quickly and continue. Do not restart your whole answer because of one mistake. When you practice fluency, your main goal is communication. You can study your grammar mistakes later. During speaking practice, teach yourself to keep going. Now, let's create a simple 15-minute daily routine. Spend 5 minutes listening and repeating English. Then spend 5 minutes answering common questions aloud. Finally, spend 5 minutes talking freely about one simple topic. You can talk about your day, your plans, your work, your studies, your family, or something you enjoy. 15 minutes may not sound like much, but if you practice every day, those minutes become hours of real speaking practice. Consistency is more important than one very long practice session. Speaking for 15 minutes every day is usually better than speaking for 2 hours once and then doing nothing for 2 weeks. English needs to become a normal part of your day. You can practice while making breakfast, walking, cleaning your room, or getting ready for work. Describe what you see and what you are doing. Ask yourself questions and answer them aloud. Also, learn vocabulary that is connected to your real life. If you work in a restaurant, learn words for food, customers, orders, tables, and common problems. If you are a student, learn words for classes, homework, exams, and studying. If you love traveling, learn words for airports, hotels, directions, transportation, and restaurants. These words will be easier to remember because you actually need them. More importantly, you will have real opportunities to use them. This is how your speaking begins to improve faster. You stop collecting English and start using English. You repeat useful phrases until they become automatic. You answer questions until your answers come more quickly. You shadow clear English, record your voice, describe your daily life, and keep speaking when you make a small mistake. Little by little, your brain becomes faster at finding the English you already know. The next important idea is confidence. Many learners believe they need confidence before they can speak, but usually confidence comes after you start speaking. You practice, you make mistakes, you try again, and slowly you become more comfortable. Think about the first time you did something new. Maybe you were nervous because you did not know what would happen. After doing it many times, it became normal. English speaking works the same way. The more often you speak, the less scary speaking becomes. Do not tell yourself, "My English is terrible," or "I cannot speak English." These sentences train your mind to focus on failure. Instead, use more useful sentences. "I am still learning." "I can communicate with simple English." "I am getting better with practice." "I made a mistake, but I can try again." You do not need to pretend that your English is perfect. You simply need to remember that improvement takes time. Every conversation, every sentence, and every mistake can teach you something. Now, imagine you are speaking with someone and suddenly you forget a word. Do not panic. Use simple expressions to give yourself time. You can say, "Let me think." You can say, "How can I say this?" You can say, "I'm not sure of the word, but..." These expressions are completely natural. Native speakers also pause and think sometimes. A short pause does not mean you are bad at English. It simply means you are thinking about what you want to say. You can also learn a few phrases that help you keep conversations moving. If you do not understand someone, say, "Could you say that again, please?" If they speak too quickly, say, "Could you speak a little more slowly?" If you want to check something, say, "Do you mean..." If you want more information, ask, "Really, what happened?" Or, "Why do you think that?" These small questions are powerful because speaking is not only about giving long answers. Good conversation also means listening and responding to the other person. Let's imagine a simple conversation. Someone asks, "What did you do this weekend?" You say, "I stayed home on Saturday and watched a movie. On Sunday, I went out with my friends. We had lunch together." Then you can ask, "What about you?" The other person answers, and now the conversation continues. You do not need advanced vocabulary. You need simple questions, simple answers, and the confidence to continue. This is real communication. Now, I want to give you another speaking challenge. Choose one topic every day and speak about it for 2 minutes. On Monday, talk about yourself. On Tuesday, talk about your family. On Wednesday, talk about your work or studies. On Thursday, talk about your favorite food. On Friday, talk about your plans for the weekend. On Saturday, talk about a movie or video you watched. On Sunday, talk about your week. At first, 2 minutes may feel very long. Maybe after 30 seconds you think, "I have nothing more to say." When that happens, ask yourself simple questions. Who? What? Where? When? Why? How? If your topic is your favorite food, ask yourself, "What is my favorite food? When do I eat it? Who usually makes it? Why do I like it? Where can I buy it? Can I cook it myself?" Suddenly, you have many things to talk about. Another way to improve faster is to use the same topic more than once. Imagine today you speak about your job for 2 minutes. Tomorrow, speak about your job again. This time, try to make your answer clearer. Add one useful phrase. Correct one common mistake. Speak with fewer pauses. On the third day, try again without looking at notes. Repeating the same topic is not boring practice. It is training your brain to speak about familiar subjects more automatically. This is especially useful because real conversations often use the same common topics. People ask where you are from, what you do, what you like, what you did yesterday, what you are doing this weekend, and what you think about something. Prepare yourself for these common situations. You do not need to memorize a perfect speech. Practice flexible answers that you can change. When someone asks you a familiar question in real life, your brain already has useful language ready. Now let's talk about speed. Improving your speaking fast does not mean speaking English very fast. This is an important difference. Some learners try to speak quickly because they think fast speaking sounds fluent, but when they speak too quickly, their pronunciation becomes unclear and they make more mistakes. Real fluency means your ideas flow naturally. You can speak at a comfortable speed, you can pause when necessary, you can pronounce important words clearly. Start slowly and clearly. As your English becomes more automatic, your natural speed will increase. Do not force it. Think about learning a song on a musical instrument. First, you play slowly because you want to learn the correct movements. After enough practice, you can play faster without thinking about every movement. Speaking works in a similar way. Accuracy and repetition help create natural speed. Let's review a simple daily plan you can begin today. First, listen to clear English and repeat what you hear. Second, practice useful sentence patterns such as I want to, I need to, I usually, and I think. Third, answer common questions with 2 or 3 sentences. Fourth, talk about your daily life aloud. Fifth, record yourself for 1 or 2 minutes. You do not have to do everything perfectly. The important thing is to use your English actively every day. Imagine you follow this routine for 30 days. Every day you speak English for 15 or 20 minutes. That means you are giving your brain hours of active speaking practice during the month. You will repeat hundreds of useful sentences. You will hear your own voice speaking English again and again. Some phrases will become easier. Some questions will stop making you nervous. You may still make mistakes, but you will probably notice that words come to you more quickly. And please remember that progress is not always easy to notice from one day to the next. You may practice today and feel almost the same tomorrow. That does not mean the practice is useless. Improvement often happens little by little. Think about going to the gym. You do not exercise once and immediately become strong. You repeat small actions over time. English is the same. Your daily practice builds your speaking ability step by step. One day, someone may ask you a question in English, and you will answer without translating. Maybe you will only notice it after the conversation. You will think, wait, I answered that automatically. That is a wonderful moment. It means some English has become natural for you. Then another phrase becomes automatic, and another one, and another one. This is how fluency grows. So do not make your practice too complicated. Speak about simple things. Repeat useful sentences. Listen and copy. Answer questions. Record yourself. Learn words connected to your life. Use simple English instead of searching for perfect English. Continue when you make mistakes. And most importantly, practice regularly. 10 or 15 focused minutes today are more valuable than waiting for the perfect time to begin. Before we finish, I want you to do a small speaking exercise with me. Answer these questions aloud. What is your name? Where are you from? What do you do? Why are you learning English? What do you usually do in the morning? What did you do yesterday? What are you going to do tomorrow? What is something you really enjoy doing? Try to give 2 or 3 sentences for each answer. If your answers are simple, that is perfectly fine. Maybe you say, "My name is Alex," I am from Italy. I live in Rome. Good. Maybe you say, yesterday I worked all day. In the evening I watched a movie. Then I went to bed. Excellent. You are speaking. You are taking the English in your head and turning it into real communication. That is exactly what you need to practice. Remember, you do not become fluent by knowing everything. You become fluent by using what you know again and again. Do not wait for another 100 grammar rules. Do not wait until you know thousands of new words. Start with the words you have. Make short sentences. Connect those sentences. Repeat them until they become easier. Then slowly add new vocabulary, new phrases, and longer ideas. Your English does not need to be perfect today. Your goal is to make it a little easier than yesterday. Speak one more sentence, learn one useful phrase, answer one question without translating. Practice for 5 more minutes. These small wins may not look impressive, but when you repeat them every day, they create real progress. Fast improvement is not magic, it is focused practice repeated consistently. So today, choose one simple topic and speak for 2 minutes. Tomorrow, do it again. Listen to English and repeat it. Record yourself once or twice a week. Notice one thing you want to improve and work on that one thing. Keep your practice simple enough that you can actually continue doing it. The best speaking method is not the most complicated method, it is the method you practice regularly. Thank you so much for listening to Daily English Fluent Podcast. I'm Jake, and I am very happy that you practiced English with me today. Keep listening, keep repeating, and most importantly, keep speaking. Do not be afraid of small mistakes because every mistake is part of learning. Give your English a little time every day, and you will become more comfortable, faster, and more confident. Keep going, step by step, and I will see you in the next podcast.